Faith Church, hope you're well. It's Tuesday, the 28th of December, fourth day of Christmas. I know the rest of the world has moved on, but we continue to celebrate for 12 days. This is a season of celebration, remembering Christ's birth and coming into our world and anticipating his coming again. I hope that it was a blessed celebration for you, with your family and your church, and being together these last few days. I was so encouraged that so many of you took us up on our invitation and read through the Gospel of Matthew during Advent. I know that for me, that was a really powerful experience to prepare for Christmas by going through the story of the life, death, and resurrection of Christ. And you may have noticed that we are starting in Mark. We're going to go right into the Gospel of Mark and continue reflecting on this story. Today's reading is from Mark chapter 2. We started yesterday, and really would encourage you to continue to set aside time each day to do that. One of the parts from the reading today that really struck me, it always does, is this account of Jesus calling Levi to be a disciple, Levi who later became known as Matthew. He's a tax collector, one of the most reviled people in Jewish culture of that day, understandably so. And Jesus calls Matthew, and then they go to a party at Matthew's house. And it's a party full of tax collectors, and Mark says other quote-unquote sinners were there, and Jesus and his disciples. I think from our perspective, we have no idea what this must have been like even for Jesus' disciples to find themselves in a room full of people that they would have hated. All these tax collectors who were essentially traitors in those days, people who'd extorted their fellow Jews for their own benefit to serve the occupying power of Rome. And here is Jesus with these men and women and all sorts of other people. What a colorful crowd. I'd love to have seen a picture of that party. And the religious leaders are there too, and they begin to grumble. And Jesus hears them grumbling and knows what's in their hearts, and essentially says to them, you know what, I came not for the healthy, but for the sick. And it's a powerful word. What's ironic, maybe ironic is the wrong word, but what strikes me here is that he's coming for all of them, that the religious leaders who are grumbling, condemning the other people, they are sick as anybody. They just don't know it. It's really the message of good news that Christ came into our world for people who can't save themselves. And that's all of us. You know, if you're sick and there's a cure for your sickness, the only thing that holds you back from being healthy again is you recognizing that you're sick and going to get help. And this is Jesus' point. The only thing at this point, we're forgiven. The only thing that holds us back from experiencing God's grace and healing in our lives is our unwillingness to recognize our need for such healing. And this passage humbles me in a couple ways. It humbles me. Lord, I want to recognize places in my own life where I'm sick, where I need healing, where I am failing to love you and other people in the way that I was made to love. And secondly, I don't want to be looking at other people with eyes of condemnation, because I'm no better than they are. This picture of Jesus at this party is, in a way, a beautiful summary of his life, that he came to be with people who had nothing to offer him, but he loved them, and many of them saw their lives changed. Matthew, I'm pretty sure, stopped collecting taxes. What he was doing was unjust and evil, actually, but God loved him in the midst of that, and he changed his life. God changed his life, and it's a powerful story. I could reflect on that all day. I really encourage you to read with us and reflect yourself on what God's teaching us through the Gospels here. We have much to learn. So I'm grateful for each of you, and wherever you are today, whatever you're doing, I really do pray that you would sense the love of God as a Father in heaven who loves you, and the grace of his Son Christ, who is a friend of sinners like you and me, and the fellowship, the community of the Holy Spirit who's with us at all times and all places. So, peace.